Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the December 21st Daily Inspirational Message. The condensed version is 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and then make a couple comments on the message. And if you find the message of use, please be so kind as to like, comment, share, or even subscribe and push the little bell so you can be notified when the new videos pop up. Thank you for that. Here we go. The title. Feeling bad is not necessarily bad for you. Paragraph 1. Having a fever may sometimes feel bad, but the fever itself is not bad for you. It is actually good for you, showing you the body is working properly, responding to and fighting an infection. If you try to suppress the fever through artificial means, this simply lowers the body's ability to do what it does naturally, help you heal. Symptom suppression is not optimal for true healing. Equally so, when we are feeling bad, sad, or negative, the ego has programmed us to hide, suppress, and feel embarrassed for feeling our feelings. It has judged ourselves as weak or less than for not feeling good, healthy, happy, or strong. Keeping the darkness hidden within you is a way that the ego gets to survive and thrive through you. Today, choose to no longer accept the ego's false programs and mindset as true. Paragraph 2. Today, if you're feeling bad or sad, do not judge yourself as less than for feeling this way. Instead, use your awareness of the emotion. Use the awareness of the emotion to trigger you to remember that your journey is a sacred co-creation with God. Recall that God is love in all and thus will use all for good. You will overcome the challenges you are now going through. Then you will use that life experience to help others overcome their own struggles and challenges. You will become the example of hope for those who are feeling hopeless. You will become a beacon of calm, rest, and peace to those who are experiencing the storm. Your trust in God's plan will alleviate others' sense of insecurity, confusion, and chaos. Your courage to process, work through, and overcome your darkness will help others rediscover the light within. All right. Feeling bad is not necessarily bad for you. Okay. I'm going to make 5 points today, and I trust it will assist you in your journey. The first one, okay, if you're feeling bad, sad, down, negative, the key is not to hide those emotions, because if you hide them within, what happens? They corrode you. And so what you want to do is feel okay to feel your emotions, because the only emotions you could truly heal are those you allow yourself to feel. And that's point number 1. Allow yourself to feel, because that's the way to heal. And don't just keep them hidden within you. Process them. You can do it. Point number 2. You're not less than or weaker or not spiritual enough for feeling bad, okay? Don't punish yourself for feeling bad. In truth, you're bringing up these emotions because you're being courageous enough to bring them up so that you can process them. Because if you keep them within, you corrode little by little. But if you start to process them, then that shows that you are courageous. And the universe believes that you can deal with it. And so there you are, having those emotions. Go ahead and process them. And don't allow the ego to tell you that you're weak because you're feeling those feelings. Because you're feeling less than great or happy or spiritually aware. Okay, so that's point number 2. Don't allow the ego to keep putting you down. You're courageous for choosing to deal with your emotions. That shows courage. So be proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the back a little bit, even though you're sad or feeling bad. That's okay. Point number 3. We can do 2 things when we're feeling bad or sad or negative. We can either sink into those feelings and thus experience, feel bad for feeling bad, feel sad for feeling sad, feel negative for feeling negative. That only increases their power over us. Okay, let us remember, we control our thoughts. Our thoughts should not be controlling us. So when we're in those states of negativity and sadness and feeling bad, this is the ego who temporarily has control over us. The ego we somewhere in time bought into one of the ego's fairy tales of self-judgment, of anger, of resentment, of hate. And because we invested so much time into that false belief, we're making it more and more real. But we can also make it less and less real by using those moments to increase our trust in Source, to increase our sacred code design, and trusting that God always uses all for good. And so if God is love and perfection, then your journey, no matter how it looks like to the ego, must be perfect. And so practice using those moments of sadness, of feeling bad, of feeling negative, not to reproduce them. We already know what happens when we reproduce them. They're just dead-end roads. Instead, use them to trigger in you the desire to trust God's plan more. God, I know I've co-designed this journey with you. Therefore, I know that whatever it is that I'm experiencing is going to, in some way, shape, or form, be used for good by you, through me. So thank you. Okay, that's point number 3, is to don't keep investing in a bad investment. Invest in Source. Use that to trigger you, the desire to practice trusting Source more. That's point number 3. Point number 4. Okay, remember, God is love, correct? So God would never offer you something you could not handle. And so no matter how dark or challenging the time may seem to you, you can handle it because you're dealing with it, because you're going through it. The act of going through it, of dealing with it, is simply saying that God trusts you enough now to go ahead and deal with it. So God trusts you. So if God trusts you, wouldn't it be somewhat wise to practice trusting yourself and saying, okay, well, this is happening right now. Obviously, God knows what He's doing. He trusts me to be able to go through this and overcome this. And He would never give me anything that I couldn't handle, that would be too much for me. And so, you know what? I'm just going to practice trusting God and deciding that He will never offer me something that I could not overcome. And so, know that. Know that because perfection is offering you something that He knows you can overcome, you will overcome it. That's true. That's the truth in you. You will overcome. Okay, that's point number 4. And point number 5, you will overcome, and then you will help others overcome what you went through. Because you're not the only one feeling the way you're feeling. We're all humans, right? So whatever you're going through, there's spiritual tools that you're getting from that process of overcoming it, from the process of going through it. From that process of going through it, you get spiritual tools of how to deal with those situations, those emotions, those thoughts in a more self-aware, light-filled manner. And so, knowing that you will overcome, know that you will also help others overcome what you're going through. And guess what? When you start to help those overcome what you overcame, you'll see why you had this situation in the first place. It was to help your brothers and sisters. But the only way to truly help your brothers and sisters is because you yourself have gone through that darkness. And now you yourself have the spiritual tools to teach others how to overcome it. And then when you start teaching them how to overcome and you start seeing them leave the darkness and return to the light within them, then you'll start to say, oh, okay. I get why I went through what I went through. It's for this. It's to help my brothers and sisters heal. It's to help all those who God sends my way heal. God was just preparing me to heal my brothers and sisters. That was what was truly happening in the first place. And so, thank you, God, for your trust in me. Thank you for sending your children to me. Sending your children to me says that God trusts you. And so, in point number 5, know that you will overcome and that you will help others overcome those same struggles that you may be going through right now. That was point number 5. All right. I don't know if I can make a short conclusion of those 5 points, but okay, let me try. Okay, point number 1 is the only emotions you allow yourself to heal are those you allow yourself to feel. So don't hold it in, feel it. Go through that process. Point number 2, you're not weaker than for feeling bad. You're not weak for feeling bad, okay? You're not spiritual for feeling bad or sad, okay? That's courageous. It says that you're ready. It says that you're ready to process these emotions that were living within you, okay? You don't want them living within you anymore. You want to process them through, forgive them, and let them go. And then you're set free. Point number 3 is use them, not to fall deeper into the hole, but use them as a trigger to go to God, to practice trust in God, to saying, God, I know that you will use all for good. I know that you have co-created your journey with me, and so I will overcome this. Point number 4 is remember that God will never offer you anything you can't overcome, being that he's love and perfection, and that he loves you. And point number 5 is that once you overcome, help others overcome, because you will have the spiritual tools needed to help them overcome, to help them go from the darkness to the light in them. All right, I hope that worked. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you can be so kind as to like, comment, or share, or even become a subscriber, that'd be lovely. Thank you for that. And push the bell so you can be notified of my future videos. Thank you for that. And God willing, we will see each other tomorrow. Peace.